Lord. Dude. Come on. This is in Iraq. That's what I'm trying to show you, but tornadoes in Iraq. Look at their street. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I'd be back. It looks like we're experiencing a bunch of glitching and technical delays. Had nothing but headaches and delays trying to get this show together, so just bear with us as we try to plow through this. Let me just start Xing out of some of this stuff anyway. Maybe that'll help. Alright, there's that. Let's get out of the music there. Let's get on over to our solar report. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out of your precious day to come here and join our precious family. All right, so here we are, March 19th, 2024, with a bunch of missing data again. Why we bother using this instrument anymore? But we got to, so it captured this small little event. You can see something was going on there, but we got 51 out of 100 frames. So you can see here by 248. This thing starts to emerge by here. We're missing frames. Please work. So there's 324 and then 512. And the event's already way out here. Obviously something going on here. You could see all the plasma stretched out right here with the dark little object at the front. Okay, no wonder why they took out those frames. Probably some gorgeous shots in there. Anyways, you see it moving out, and that was about all the data we got, because the rest is just useless junk. And actually, as you can see, look at all these spikes and all these spires starting to flare around the sun. You know what I tell you about these things, right? Look how many there are. Look how active this region's getting. And then sometimes these dark regions like this. Remember, these objects absorb light, so they leave a dark patch where the light is missing. We're looking for missing light as well. So notice how intense it is right here and how dark it is right there. We got another little dark streak going through there. Watch out. It looks like there's a bunch of activity about to strike the sun here. All right. And there's your loop for today. So I'll let you look at that quick little glimpse of the thing shooting out the bottom. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, guys. I missed you. I've been trying to get to this point of the day all day long so I can get back to you guys. All right, so there you are, March 19th. Not a bunch of data. But let's come on over here to the solar ham now and talk about something different. Let's first do our regular rounds through the X-ray flux here. Let's get that over. All right, as you can see, the reason why we missing data, because in this box right here, we had quite a choppy little day going on there, didn't we? Now, this isn't always a true indicator of the activity on the sun, too. Remember, sometimes we've seen what looked like a quiet day on the sun, but we had all kinds of activity. Also, we've seen the opposite, where it was a strong day on the sun and hardly any activity on this. So, since we're missing a bunch of data, we can come over here and kind of see that it was quite a busy day on the sun here. They weren't big flares or anything, but it was quite busy. All right, very active is what I'm trying to say. And so right here, just coming out of the dropout again and starting to, but we're currently pretty low. But you can see we had a couple M flares today, small little one. Well, probably barely an M flare right there. And then one right here too as well. All right, so let's back out of that a little bit. Okay, X flare potential 5%. Raise that a little bit, especially with all the sunspots that we're going to talk about tonight. And all of these spires, all of these white spires growing, and the dark regions as well. Watch how this one's riding one of these lines. See that? So these little spires act like like a compass needle. They're magnetic needles kind of pointing at an inbound magnetic field, which is produced by the object. Okay, so these things don't just stick off the sun because the sun's feeling happy. There's other factors out there that are stretching these off the sun, magnetic fields that are tugging on the sun here and tugging on it there. Also, places where it's eating light. Right? Excuse me. Crumbs all over my mouse pad here. It's annoying. All right. So back to this. Very busy day. All right. That X flare potential should go up to at least 10%. M flares should be a little higher since we already had two of them there. So a little bit higher readings, I believe, for these should be. All right. We had a M6.7 and a 2.1. That's probably the 6.7. This one probably being the 2.1. That one probably didn't make M class. All right. So the next 2 days on our geomagnetic forecast, we're due to take on some energy and have a G1, forecasted G1 on both days, the 20 and 21st. Okay, so that's get ready for inbound energy that we're about to absorb. And you know how I feel about absorption, right? Okay, so let's pop this open. You can see that we were way down here. We weren't taking on a bunch. We had a small little impulse and it got quiet again. Then we had an event where we've taken on a bunch of energy right in this area right here. These 4 bars, 5 bars right here is a little impact, right? It didn't get all red and spike way up there, but that is still energy being absorbed. It comes out of it, gets low again, kind of rises a little bit. So we're on the ebb and flow here of absorbing energy with 2 days, the next 2 days expected more. All right. So everybody hold on. Let's pull open the auroras real quick. You'll see that they're in regular condition in the green right now, but they're not weak. They're pretty healthy. And pretty soon, I expect we'll probably see some yellow in the middle when we take on this G1 magnetic storm tomorrow. All right, so let me see. Oh, back up here to the sunspot regions, 36, 14, and 15. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. All right, back to the show. Anyways, beta delta here. This one's got a delta configuration on the 3614, and then the 3615 is beta gamma. All right, these two are getting dangerous now, and we'll start to read here about it below as the updated look at the sunspot 3516 on Tuesday, along with the new region turning into view on the southeast limb AR 3515, continues to produce occasional C flares today and will remain a threat for a moderate M flares. All right, so the 3515, and then we got another one that's above it, 3514. Okay, a moderately strong, that was yesterday. Yeah. The tracker, pop that open. Now, just real quick, we've already seen this impact and stuff, but I want you to notice something written in red. Can you find something that's written in red? And then read what it says as you look at this. You sure about that? No Earth-directed CME events detected. Yeah, we got a spike detected. We got this detected. Anyways, moving on. All right, let's move on to spaceweather.com. Come on over here. You guys should be coming over here too as well and reading these articles too. Still the Equinox Aurora Watch for Dr. Russell McPherson. They can't just praise that guy enough for getting half of it wrong. The other half is because the sun does this stuff. All right. Let's get into a potential dangerous sunspot. This is still the same article, but it needs to be read again. The new sunspot 35 or 3615 is complicated. It's very complex. All right. It looks more like a rash than a sunspot with a dozen plus dark cores scattered randomly over a wide area. The magnetic map of the region. So I wanted to pop this open here and get you. Whoopsie. I want you to think about all it takes is a plus and a minus right next to each other, all right? And there are so many different configurations right here where it could pop off, this plus and minus could connect, or it could be this one, or it could be this one, or it could go this way, or it could go that way, maybe this way. There's one right there. There's another one. There's another one. There's just so many different ways that this thing could possibly make one connection and pop. There we go. All right, so there's your rash right there, and it's very complex. Usually we only have two, a positive and a negative with a little, distance in between them. These are all touching. These are all one big plus minus conglomeration right there. Then what I want to do, I want you to look at that for a minute and think of all the different possibilities right here, right there, right there, right there, this way, possibly there, possibly there, possibly here, there. There's so many different ways that this could make one connection and light up the whole thing. All right, a very dangerous region that's coming into view here. And there it is on the sun. It looks like a rash, like a big old blistering rash. And you see all the little different dark cores and stuff. That's all the different plus minuses that all it has to do is jump anywhere. So extremely volatile sunspot. Okay, everybody, hold your breath. Keep praying, stay on your toes, head on a swivel, because this thing is still, I'm trying to be nice about the sense of urgency. I should be screaming and pounding this camera through the screen right now, screaming at you guys, but I'm trying to maintain composure and just tell you this is very dangerous. Now, as we back out, something else I wanted to talk about. Let's come back over here real quick. Pop this one open again here. Now, let's see. Can I get us zoomed in on this, please, Lord? Okay. Whoops. So, here's our 3615, our rash, okay? Look up here. We have 3614, and it has a single positive, negative, but two well-defined, very strong fields. This reminds me of the configuration of Nemesis and Nibiru. The Nibiru object has a very strong magnetic field, right? Same with the other one, but the other one is so scattered and complex that it would cause this kind of effect on the surface, not on the surface, but in the corona of the sun. Okay, the corona is produced much like our magnetic field on our planet is produced. There's a core spinning inside a shell, dynamo going on inside the sun. The surface of the sun is actually dark and much colder. It's the magnetic field, the core and the shell are so big inside the sun that when they rotate, the magnetic field it produces is so powerful it produces light. That's how the sun glows. That's how it produces light. That's why the corona is hotter than the surface. That's why when we have coronal holes and you see in there, it looks dark. Well, it's cooler in there. The actual surface is much cooler. It's the corona, the magnetic field produced by the core dynamo, is so powerful. It's on such a grand scale that when that dynamo starts to move and it can be moving really slow inside there, but on such a huge scale that one little micro motion of it is enough to produce light. The magnetic field is so strong that it produces light, and it holds all the planets in orbit as well. So this one, very defined central core, positive, negative. This one, the big old rash. Both of them are very volatile, rotating into our strike zone. All right. So holding on to breath, praying, kneeling and praying. The whole thing, head on a swivel, be aware, because one little touch off from this is going to send something our way. It's in our field of view now. It will still catch a glancing blow off of something, whatever comes off of here. All right. So prepare for the next few days, possibly getting something possibly off the sun. All right. Because these are huge areas. It's more than just the magnetic combining right here. Look at how big the field of magnetism is and how big this one is too. And this is the complex one. Yay. All right. Very important that everybody pay attention to what goes on right here. And this is being caused by outside influences. All right. This is not the sun burping out solar flares. These are induced by inbound objects. All right, so we came back over here. This complexity region is just the small, or the southern one. All right, it's the one that produced this long duration. Look at this plasma conduit thing that came out of there. And since we're missing the data from this, we know it's Earth facing. We know it's going to hit us by the tracker, right? We're going to get a glancing blow off of this from the tracker. All right, so even though we're missing data, we still have some of the other instruments that are showing right here that we're going to catch part of this. Boom, right there. So the next 2 days are G1 forecasted, and then we have this thing arriving also. I believe that that's what they're indicating is going to cause your next 2 days is this impact. All right. Even though there are no Earth-directed CME events detected. Okay, so this is the same old article. AR 35 or 3615 is a growing sunspot, is growing in sunspot count and complexity. So it could soon pose a threat for X-class solar flares. Both of those sunspots now have the capacity for producing an X-class solar flare. All right, and they're growing in intensity and complexity. So everybody hold on tight. It's nothing to freak out about yet, but be aware, okay? And pray. Lots of praying. Oh, please, Lord, can we have the Schumann resonance? See what I'm talking about? All I'm trying to do is shift to another open page here, but can we have the Schumann, Lord? Oh, come on, please. I'm trying to do a show. I can't just switch from one page to another. Please, Lord, please, Jesus, can we have this back? Really? Do I have to X out of the whole thing and start all over? Sorry about this, folks. I told you we might have a few little technical difficulties and glitches. There we go. Oh, it's Microsoft. Microsoft has an account problem. Accountability problem. All right. There's your human. We're pumping along pretty good right there. Finally, some consistency. Nice solid line there. Got a little weak in that zone right there, but it comes back to life. So, good continuity, good consistency here after coming out of this mess back here. Maybe you guys felt a little bit of even keeled today, not such a roller coaster ride, maybe a little less pain today. Maybe your animals were a little more mellow and not so freaking out. Anybody noticing different behavior in cats? Just wondering if you're noticing different behavior in cats. All right, so let's get on over here because this is what's going to take up most of the show. Not most of the show, but most of this report. Okay, so I don't even know where to begin here. I'll just begin by kind of letting you guys look around first. Let's just put it there. Our main vortex, okay, very broad. It's weakening in the middle right in this zone. So this is almost becoming an inflow and less of the vortex. Okay, so our vortex has broadened out so far that the edge is starting to become like an inflow. But we still have our main polar vortex. That's the closest one to the pole. Okay, so I'm calling that one the polar vortex. All right. Meantime, the sub-vortex has picked up strength and is like the powerful vortex, all right? You see its inflow is stretched all the way back, way off into the Pacific, so it's pretty powerful. It's sucking stuff from way out there all the way into it. Now, where they come together, we have another vortex down below here. So as it rotates back up into here, it's feeding this one a little bit. It's very, very weak connection there, but it's still a vortex. It's still part of this flow. See how it wraps around and brings stuff down? So I consider this still a vortex because it is a center of rotation. Okay, so trying to keep this complexity as simple as possible. Here's another vortex. Boom, boom, boom. So you see these gears spinning and starting to guide the polar vortex in all kinds of different directions, pulling it and tugging it and doing different things. Now look over here. Here's a vortex. See the center of rotation? Here's another vortex, center of rotation. Of course, you can see that one. It's pulling like a conveyor belt type effect down here into Africa. It's hard to keep up with what is going on here. Kind of like that circus music. It's just so wonky and crazy over here. And then when you pull like this, you see our main vortex, the main polar vortex up here at the top with all these other little... Okay, it's just... very, very complex, all right? And it's hard to say what's going to happen to what now because it just shifts and changes so much and becomes more complex. All I could say is watch out, we might have more vortexes by tomorrow. Maybe that'll be the case. And look, we got this rotation going on down here as well. So a lot of wonkiness going on coming down here to the South Pole. And you see its southern polar vortex is getting more organized down here as well with an inflow. And then if you like pull back even more, There's this one going around the outside as well. But what a setup we got going. It's like, I don't know. It just reminds me like one of those little waterfall system things where it drips off of one thing, runs into another, pours out of it and drips onto another, comes out of it into another. Just these flow asymmetries are getting very, very complex, very interesting, and it's changing stuff, doing wonky stuff. Now, let's take you to America here, where most of my viewers are from here. Let's get some of these wavy lines out of the way here. Sorry, bear with me. I don't have the best setup. While you guys watch me and my rinky-dink setup, you guys got some patience. All right, I had it pretty good there. Shouldn't just mess with it, but so good enough right there. Wait a second. Huh. Wow. Yeah, I'm just looking at this for a second before we start going to some of the other ones. This little vortex right here is odd. I mean, this one's odd, but now it's created this one off of it that's feeding back up. Look how it comes off of this and back up into here. What a weird setup. All right, let's get back to business here. Sorry. All right, so we're going to start dropping down through the layers. Here's your transition layer. Here's your big ridge that's been caused by the upper vortex. All right, so shoving stuff way up north and bringing stuff down to the south with this big ridge right here. Okay, causing, wow, look how strong this stuff is. We're getting vortexes here in the transition zone here. Look at this. Look at that right there. And we got another vortex over on this side growing in our transition layer. This is usually the boring layer. There's nothing going on in this layer much. That's why I hardly ever showed it before. But now we're starting to see big time side effects in this transition layer. And now the reason why we do the transition layer is because it's affecting our jet stream. This is your upper jet. You see the correlations here with that transition layer affecting the upper jet. Let me take this out the way real quick there. All right, so you can see this hot cocktail getting split up, going way up there. See how it's all jumbled in this area, getting shunted down to the south here. Then they meet up, hook up again here, and look where they're coming together here over by the east coast of the United States. A lot of red and pink and purple in that region right there. And then look at this complexity back behind it. Nuts. That is nuts. All right, so let's go ahead and drop into our lower jet stream. Okay, you see the correlations here still? They're pretty similar. All right, all the storms are riding on this, so when they come up to this big ridge here, they get all jumbled and broken up and shunted north and shunted south and discombobulated, and then they regain composure over here on the East Coast. Then drop down to the weather here. You see these storms. Wow, look at this. It's kind of taking everything up here now. Got this storm just kind of got carried way up there, and it's going to drop down. We got even this offshore kind of flow here going backwards a little bit Interesting layout we got here. These storms, they were looking like they were going to come right at the west coast, and now all of a sudden, look at this. Just going up. Detour, going way up to the top of the planet, too. That's, look, there's the top right there. So it's taking stuff from the Pacific and bringing it all the way up there. Let's look at that weird wonky thing. Yeah. See? Well, I'm taking it way up there. All right, let's get back to other things. There's the surface. I'm going to go right there. Let's do our sandstorm. Sandstorms plural. Wow, look at Africa. Remember how it had mellowed out last week and there was hardly any white plumage in here? Now over the past few days, it's picked up in intensity here and in size. And you can see the wind currents, which way they're taking it. You see wind coming out of this area, coming across there, picking up the sand and blowing it. Oh, these lines are just so frustrating. Blowing it out across the Atlantic into South America there. Maybe I could have something like this. Huh? We have something without lines. There we go. So they can see the whole screen. Oh, you're thinking about ice cream. Well, there's some vanilla sand. All right. Continuing over here in Saudi Arabia, another sandstorm, very kind of diffused up here, and as well here at the Gobi Desert. It still has white, but it's more diffused and not so organized and condensed as it was yesterday, but we still do have multiple sandstorms going on, and this one in Africa has just blossomed. It has turned into, I mean, look at the size of Africa, okay? Look how much of Africa this sandstorm takes up. So, a lot going on there. Something's wrong. 4-month-long sandstorm going on here all winter long. And now we're into spring. Oh, yeah, by the way, happy spring, everybody. Even though it's not the 21st, leap day knocks it all back and out of whack. Chemicals, SO2, take off the wind, clear it all out, and let's do some pressure. All right, SO2 emissions coming out of the ground because the lava down below. Actually, look how lightened up it is in this area. There's only a couple of little patches right here. Look at this. You guys notice the difference from last night? All this region right here has lightened up right in there. There's still little tiny patches, but it was all kind of that color. So we've seen a lightening up through this region, all in there. It's always been kind of right from there over. This side still looks the same, but this side, you see what I'm saying? It's lightened up in that region. So maybe a little less pressure going on right now. Whoops. Get that out of there. All right, let's get around to China. And theirs looks to have lessened as well. You see how it's not as dark purple in here? It's still kind of reaching up into this region, but it was a lot darker up in there before, so it's lessened in there. It's lessened over China and everything. Let's take a little look at Europe here. Wow, Europe's still bleeding out. Let's come on over to Java the Hutt. And it has lightened up as well. See this whole region right there, nice and lightened up now a little bit. So it looks like we've had a relief of pressure. We still got, pressure down below that's pushing this stuff out, but we have seen a drop in pressure, it looks like. probably because of volcanism and earthquakes and stuff. Also, it looks like we might be under some kind of like a suppression event again. You'll see what I was talking about when we get to the earthquake report. Our spot here, it's still about the same as it always is, or has been lately, I mean. So the pressure in South America, well, it looks like it lightened up too. Even though this band is still, pretty solid, it's not as dark purple. You notice that tonight? So there has been a lessening of the pressure, a relief of pressure, it looks like. All right. Just want to take a peek at this real quick. If your water smells like sulfur, that's why. SO4 likes to bond with H2O to create H2OSO4, also known as sulfuric acid. All right, let's get out of there. Back to... So, oops, I want the wind too. Sorry. All right. So, major changes in our polar vortexes. I don't even know how many to count. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I might count. I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge, but that's a lot of strange activity going on there. Yes, first grade was a brainwasher. All of school was a brainwasher. And now that you've been properly brainwashed, now society poisons that brainwashed mind. And we have an epidemic, bipolar morphism. And it's funny because they tried to diagnose me with that. And the reality is I'm the one who has my head screwed on straight. It's society that has bipolar morphism. Pretty trippy, huh? You guys are seeing it too. It's not you who's crazy. It's the world. They're out of their mind. Common sense is like left the building. It's uncommon sense now. All right, here we go. Let's get on over to the, yeah. Well, that's why I do this. I have to do this to wake people up. That's what my show is. That's who I am. I'm here to change that giving you the proper perspective to look from. And we will re-educate the school system and fix those problems. You take God out of school, what's the point of learning anything? Took out the main part of learning. All right, here we go. Back to the report. I go off on tangents. I love it. You guys do too. So 4.5. Mid-range 4 down at 185 down here. Okay, so our no deep quake in this zone. There's a suppression event going on, and we have a semi-deep mid-range 4 coming up here. I'm going to call that a 5 because it's down at 126. There's another mid-range 4, but down at 159. Here at Taiwan, we haven't had that Fulcrum Point quake there in a minute. There's a 5 as well. And then nakedness. Yes, raw nakedness. 4.5 up here after this fulcrum point. Now, that energy has the potential of coming down into the Wanda Fuca, so you could possibly see anything from a 4.5. Let's see, what's the timestamp? 9. That one's before it, and that one's after it. Okay, so we have seen some residual energy. This 3.3 here in Idaho is some energy that come from the fulcrum point coming over here. 4.5. There's no tsunami, but sometimes they tell you a different magnitude. If we can get that, please, Lord. I just want to see what their initial report was with the tsunami alert, please. Oh, please, Lord. If I'd have known it was just going to be that hard to click on one thing. Can we just X out of it or something? A 4.4. Okay. It was less than this. So, still potential for a mid-range 4 to come down California. Very quiet around the Cocos Plate. Everything's all quiet. Look at South America. As we pull back, very quiet. There's a quake we haven't seen down here in a minute. Mid-range 5 down at 118 there. But look how quiet the whole map is. If we could just... All right. So a suppression event underway. We still have pressure down below that has to get out. So we're squeaking out where we can here. Here's a 5.4 in Pakistan here. Again, with this different fulcrum point. Okay. Same spot as yesterday. Or is that the same quake? Nope. There's been 2 of them there. Yep, 5.5 yesterday and a 5.4 today. So, 2 of those quakes in that area. So, a new potential weak spot right here, especially while under a suppression event. And we're seeing stuff squeak out here. This is when we kind of find out where our weak points are. Even up here, Iceland with its volcano going off. All right, so there's your earthquake report, and it's not much because there is not much to report on. You see how quiet it is. That's why I say we're under like some kind of suppression event, a magnetic grip type event where everything's being kind of suppressed at the moment. But that'll change. When that magnetic grip or whatever's happening, the suppression event ends, that's when you'll start to see the activity roil up and increase again. So no telling how long that's going to last here. Let's see if we can get this volcano report out of the way here and get to the spiritual report. Because that's why you guys are here. Pretty soon we might stop doing all the other reports and just go right to spiritual reports, because it's going to be the main factor in your life here soon. Okay. March 20th, 2024. Talking about Recahanus, all this different stuff, different crystals are popping up. Okay. It's still going. Suwanosejima, 7,000 feet. Semeru, here in Java. Okay, this is a crucial one. Semeru, 14,000 foot blast that relieved a bunch of pressure there in Java. Here, Marapi, that's just opposite on the Sumatra. Okay, 11,000. That's a good explosion out of that. That relieved a lot of pressure. Popocatépetl, I bet it was probably in the 20s. Okay, because it relieves a lot of pressure. Santa Guido's another big blaster. Fuego's a big blaster. Look at Nevada del Ruiz, 20,000 feet. Here's Sangay at 19,000. Reventador at 14,000. And that was just already into the 20th. Now let's back up and go through what happened during today. And of course, we had the activity going off at Reykjanes. We still have, multiple little fissure spots that are still, popping off. Lots of volume coming out in that one, like as far as volume of magma coming out. Okay, so that's relieving a bunch of pressure up at Iceland there. Back to Suwanosejima here, 5,000 feet. Ibu, 10,000 foot. Semaru, 14. Marapi, 14. Dukono, 9,000. Rapapu, whatever. That one's still on there. Popocatépetl, 20,000 feet. Okay, these are tall blasts. 14 out of Santa Guido. Fuego, 15,000. Sangay, usually pretty high. Reventador. So, a lot of high blasts. 15s, 14s, 20s. Okay, new volcanoes like this one coming online yesterday. So a lot of pressure has, formed and has relieved in the form of volcanic activity. And lately, when we do absorb energy, it seems that it's been venting through volcanoes more so than through earthquakes, which has its benefits, but also has its drawbacks as well, because we're putting ash at 14,000 feet. We're putting ash every day at 20,000. We're putting ash all over the place every day, these continuing volcanoes. So lots of, each day the air gets more potential to hold water. Each particulate, each little piece of ash water can collect on it and form a raindrop. All right. We need particulates for raindrops to cling to form. So the more particulates we have mixed into the air, the thicker the sponge the air is, the thicker it is in it, the more it can hold, the more water it can absorb and hold. Now, when we have that effect of the air being able to hold more water, normal storms hold a lot more water now, and we're seeing bigger updrafts, bigger potentials, flash flooding, large hail, more tornadoes, more large systems. Okay, so that's all repercussions from solar activity mixed with volcanic activity, and you darn humans, you guys just, yeah, that's all the humans' fault for global warming and climate change. Please give me a break with that stuff. When these guys tell you that stuff, just, I don't condone violence, but just smack them and tell them, go back to school, dummy. Anyway, I'm sorry. Pray for him. Really, what you should be doing is praying for him, but tolerance level of my patience is getting thin. I'm slow to anger, but my patience is starting to wear thin. All right, let's get on with the report, Brian. Boom, boom, boom. Get to the beginning, stop it, and we'll just go through the first little bit here. Back up, please. Oh, imagine if everything you tried to do was just nothing but resistance. Everything you tried to do was just resistance. Okay, well, I guess we'll just start with this opening frame since it's not going to do any further back, I guess. I wanted the frame. There we go. So, opening frame, nighttime, March 19th, nice clear country. Here we go. The morning of the 20th, noon, convection. You see snow kind of sneaking in on this storm here. Convection the 20th, nighttime, morning of the 21st, noon on the 21st, convection, nighttime, offshore, hopefully, with a little spottiness, The morning time of the 22nd, still offshore, still spottiness. Snow moving in. Noontime, this thing looks nasty. And it's headed right for the west coast of Florida. Okay, I'd watch out here all along that west coast, starting from the noontime of the 22nd, and then convection, when the cloud tops burst and go crazy, is right when this whole blob is crossing Florida. So I would watch out all of Florida, even the panhandle, because one shift by 1 degree in that polar vortex or any of those other little vortexes that we saw. Now there's 5 different factors that could just shift 1 degree. If it before it was just one vortex that would, if it shifted. Now any of 5 could hiccup and change the direction of this. So around the 22nd, starting around noon, or during the 22nd, everybody in Florida, monitor that storm as it comes through. There's a photograph. I don't want that. No. I want. What sucks is if you accidentally click on that, you have to back out of it and reload it. And then on this computer, if you try to do that, we're talking miracles, Lord. Thank you for miracles and answered prayer. Now, back to where we were. Noontime right here. This is severe hit in Florida. There it is at the convection, the nighttime, like the sun goes down. There's the nighttime, still intense down here. And in the Florida Keys, watch out as well. Spottiness up in there. The morning of the 23rd, intense right here along the coast. Noontime, you see it wrapping up and trying to crawl along the coast here. There's the convection of the 23rd right there, looking pretty dangerous for this region of the coastline right there. And like I said, one little hiccup and the location of this could be out at sea, or it could be backed up just a tad bit. It could go further north, further south. Everything is so volatile now. It's hard for exact locations. It's just an event that we need to look for in that time frame. So, starting way back here with the morning of the 22nd. There's the morning of the 23rd as it creeps up the coast. That's the end of convection, the 23rd there, going into the nighttime as it skirts the coast. Deep snow up there in Maine. The morning of the 24th, it looks like it clears the country with another ridge building in here. There's noontime the 24th. Convection, nighttime of the 24th, icing event right here, possibly. Morning of the 25th, noon, convection, nighttime. Nighttime convection here. Yeah, watch out for that QLCS right there with pop-ups in front of it on around maybe the night of the 25th, morning of the 26th event, even into noon, convection, nighttime. So the 26th, 25th right there, starting from the end of convection through the nighttime of the 25th through the mornings, all the way through the 26th. And then we go into the morning of the 27th, noon, convection, nighttime. Why are you doing that? Morning of the 28th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 29th, noon, convection, nighttime. Wow, look at that. Nighttime of the 29th. So here from the morning of the 29th, watch out. The 29th. All right, and that'll be the morning, or there's the morning of the 30th, still going on. Very intense right there. Ice storms up in there. Noontime, convection, night, morning of the 31st, noon, convection, night. So the rest of that's too far out in advance, and there's not much to see there anyway. So the next main concern is this event here in Florida on the 22nd, right there. All right, and then as it continues up the coast on the 23rd. So 22nd, 23rd, everybody watch out in that time zone. Everything after that is kind of up in the air. All right, so that's it for the solar earthquake science part of this. Terraphysics, astrophysics, now on to metaphysics. Actually, no. I got something new or different tonight. Please, may I have this, Lord? Okay. The book of Miracles. You guys, any ever heard of the Book of Miracles? Let's just pop this open and watch some of this for a minute. There are some things in this book, all right, that were captured. You know, people recorded them.
Captured his doomsday fears onto parchment.
But a lot of these signs we're starting to see again.
It's perhaps the world's most disturbing picture book.
All right, we're going to let that play for a minute.
Calamity and chaos, and eerie hybrids that defy logic. All were believed to be omens that the apocalypse was on its way. These mesmerizing images invoke a sense of dread, the kind of dread that arises.
All right, that last image right there with multiple suns and the sun with faces on them. They always portray the sun with the face on it, just like I've shown you before, the sun with a face on it. And then here we have that white ring with the other dots on it, yet with like sundogs on the white ring. The effect that we've seen was captured back in the 1500s.
Sense of dread, the kind of dread that arises from things we don't understand, with haunting creatures that inhabit our nightmares. Welcome to Strange Christian Art. This episode, The Little Book of Cosmic Horrors.
It's called the Book of Miracles.
The name of this book is The Book of Miracles. Now, this implies something pleasant.
You see these paintings? We're seeing rainbow type effects around the sun like this, aren't we? Sun halos. And that's what these people were depicting in their paintings long ago, are a lot of the stuff, the signs that we're seeing now.
So it's far from that.
That's what
Instead, it's full of disturbing visions, like the week in 1542 when the sky caught fire, or in 1550 when a pool of human blood bubbled from the ground. The sort of things that don't happen on the daily.
See this image over here, the sky catching on fire? We're going to see stuff like this, okay? You're probably going to see blood or stuff like this ooze up from the ground.
One of these strange illustrations includes the year in which it happened and a very brief description.
All right, this thing, the burning log. I think we've seen something similar to this before already. And when I find it again, I'll bring it to you. But here they're showing like an eclipse. Because that's not the moon. That's an eclipse. Now, I'm wondering during this eclipse that we'll see, when it darkens the sun and you can see the stars, are we going to see some kind of burning type log looking structure? You know, it's a cylinder type structure with what looks like fire coming off of it. We've seen this in the clouds already. It looks like a UFO with flames coming off the top of it.
There's no attempt, however, at an explanation. But what is the purpose of this book? Why draw such disturbing images? It's believed that this book was a warning, illustrating omens believed to have been sent by God. Omens that suggested that the apocalypse was nigh. It might explain why
all these comments. Did you see this one right here? Go back.
So many of these pictured that the apocalypse was nigh. It might explain.
Look at the tail on this one. You notice how it's kind of wavy? Maybe this is the return of, the one that we're seeing is the return of maybe something like this.
Why so many of these pictures are comets. For millennia, comets have been seen as signs of bad luck. Like in the Bayeux Tapestry, which records the transit of Halley's Comet in 1066, the same year that the Kingdom of England was was conquered by the Normans. If you look closely at these illustrations, you can see silhouettes of collapsing cities in the background.
Oh, yeah. Did you notice that? So, the time when this comet comes, it destroys cities. All right? These are all paintings that people to document their
The origin
history.
of this book is just as intriguing as its contents. In 2007, it anonymously surfaced in an auction house in Augsburg, Germany. No one knows who wrote it or the journey it had been on up to this point. To me, it adds to the mystery, as well as its supernatural quality. The book has been dated to 1552, as after this year there are no further entries. It was written during a time of conflict and upheaval, as Western Christianity split between Catholics and Protestants, a period known as the Reformation. At the time, anxieties about the end of the world reached an all-time high. The book was probably commissioned in response to those fears, to keep track of God's signs throughout.
See? Sun halo. They're painting the same things we're seeing. And note, here, the city's is fine. They're having a normal sun halo. This was assigned before the collapse of the cities.
Out history. The types of signs that typically precede an apocalypse. Let's take a look inside, shall we? The first few pages depict scenes from the Bible. Taken from the Old Testament, it includes familiar stories like Noah's Ark, when God drowned the earth with a great flood, or the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, when God engulfed the town in a fiery inferno. There are other less destructive scenes too, even one including
You see that?
the Old Inferno. There are other.
You see this monster coming out of the sea? Did I show you monsters coming out of the sea the other day? We're starting to see the same things that they were depicting back then.
Too. Even one including the Old Testament's weirdest chapter, the vision of Ezekiel. Perhaps familiar to viewers of
this was in
It's a
1550s.
fantastical glimpse of God's throne. Accompanying him are two creatures. To the left, a winged hybrid with the heads of a human, an eagle, an ox, and a lion. To the right, an interlocking set of rings with eyes on the outer rim. In Hebrew, it's referred to as an ophanim, or the wheels. It's odd to see something so unnatural, yet so apparently holy. Perhaps it's the multiple heads and eyes that make them so unnerving. These mysterious angels
multiple
are
heads
bizarre.
and eyes. Have I shown you multiple heads and eyes on this channel in the clouds? Faces sharing an eye with each other, multiple heads, multiple eyes. So this stuff is stuff that we kind of used to seeing.
Inhabiting a plane beyond human
Yeah, thank you, Cindy.
comprehension. After exploring scenes from the Bible, the book records signs that have taken place throughout history, right up to the modern day, which in this case was the year 1552. Many of these are your classic doomsday omens, volcanic eruptions,
Hang on.
locust plague. Many of these are your classic doomsday.
Raining flesh in 1456. All right, they depicted it raining chunks of flesh and blood. Also, the volcanoes. Listen to everything. Just enjoy this. I'm sorry.
Volcanic eruptions, locust plagues, comets, they're your go-tos in apocalypse bingo. But then the book starts to get really, really strange.
Dragons?
Illustrations of some highly unusual.
3 suns. I think somebody just captured 4 suns not too long ago. And what appeared to be, our sun with a couple others in the background, these other bodies being illuminated or, slightly glowing as they approach the sun.
Like the orb of 73 BC, when a golden sphere suddenly appeared above ancient Rome. According to the description, it came down to Earth, rolled about.
All right, I'm going to step away while you guys enjoy this for a second.
Blocking out the sun entirely. There's no explanation as to what it could be. Just a very matter-of-fact description. But I think I have an idea. You see, this orb story seems to be based on an actual report from ancient Rome. In 76 BC, Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder described a very similar event. How a bright spark flew down to Earth, hovered about.
All right, we're gonna pass that little story because there's other stuff in here that you need to see.
The original story had undergone a fair bit of creative embellishment. Many images featured disturbances with the sun. In 1551, the sun allegedly multiplied into 5 over the town of Leipzig. This picture features the sun with a bright glowing ring, followed by the devastation you'd come to expect. Some illustrations have these eerie halos and ghostly rings that illuminate the sky.
The same stuff that we've seen. Look at this.
This very and ghostly ring.
All right, we've seen these half rainbow effects in the clouds that they're painting over on this side, right? We've seen the sun with the sun dogs. We were even seeing moon dogs now. All right, so their paintings are depicting the very same things that we're seeing these days. And note, they put a face on the sun
to illuminate the sky. Strangely, there are accounts of this very same thing outside our book, like this painting from 1535 with rings over Stockholm, Sweden. These celestial halos have a name, sundogs, and are a real atmospheric phenomenon. They occur when atmospheric ice crystals refract the sunlight, creating an eerie halo illusion in the sky. Throughout history, sundogs have often been mistaken for divine activity. Who could blame them? We know far more about atmospheric signs than we did back then. Now, of course, most of these events don't have a rational explanation, like how a red warrior appeared in the sky, along with a floating crimson fortress and a shadowy army.
We've seen floating cities in the clouds.
A ghostly horse appeared over Bohemia, with a nebulous rider climbing on. That was a particularly odd year for the people of Bohemia. Later that year, the sky was also swarming with dragons wearing crowns. A highlight for me has to be the cosmic baby battle of 1536, when 3 celestial infants appeared to be doing battle in the sky. One is wearing the Austrian coat of arms, the other 2 are dressed up like Ottomans, possibly a reference to the failed Turkish siege of Vienna in 1529. With all these ultra-strange events, it's doubtful whether they actually happened. However, at the same time, there's no way to prove that they didn't happen. I can dream. So far, we've seen all the strange happenings in the sky, but what about on the ground? Another core focus of the book is the various monsters, from the giant whale that caused an earthquake in Lisbon, to this hydra-like creature that was caught by fishermen and taken to Venice. Some of these beasts are very hard to spot. This scene looks pretty normal until you notice this hairy creature with a human face. I have no clue what this is, but it does look like early drawings of sloths. Now, this creature was reportedly dredged out of the Tiber River in Rome. It is the head of a donkey, the body of a human, and 2 faces on its backside. When I first saw this image, I immediately recognized the sketch it was based on. The same creature appears in this Protestant cartoon by Lucas Cranach the Elder. It's a caricature of the Pope, who's dressed as a demonic donkey. Even the background is the same. It appears that there are other hybrid creatures, just like this one, malformed and misshapen beings, both animal and human. Since ancient times, hybrids have been seen as evil, abominations that go against the laws of nature. This revulsion towards hybridity continues today. When we see a creature that shouldn't exist, we tend to label it as creepy or unsettling. Whilst hybrids have often been seen as evil, they were at the same time holy. Remember those angels at the start of the book? Those multi-bodied, multi-eyed creatures? Well, they're associated with the divine and are therefore good? Presumably. Our book contains these opposite approaches to hybrids. On one hand, they're hellish, but on the other, they're divine. It's an uncomfortable balance, but one that's interesting to see play out before our eyes. The book ends where it started, the Bible. It now focuses on the apocalyptic visions from the book of Revelation. If you've watched my survival guide to the biblical apocalypse, you'll know all the gruesome devastation that's supposed to take place. Trumpets hailing destruction, an explosion of man-eating locusts, dragons chewing corpses, all the good stuff. The last image depicts the arrival of the beast, a multi-headed monster with 10 crowns. Beside him is the Antichrist, who looks like a mix between a goat and a dog. Worshipping the arrival of these creatures are men dressed in Catholic garb. Among them are bishops, cardinals, and even the Pope. This detail confirms that whoever wrote this was most likely a Protestant who had a bone to pick with the Catholic Church. With this foreboding image, the book draws to a close.
Okay.
The Book of Miracles is an incredibly strange piece of Christian art, a collection of bizarre signs, each with a unique flavour of doom and destruction. Back then. Now, of course, most of these events don't have a rational explanation, like how a red warrior appeared in the sky, along with a floating crimson fortress.
We've seen cities. I've captured stuff like that.
When a ghostly horse appeared over Bohemia, with a nebulous rider climbing on.
And then,
That was a particularly
where's the one with
odd
the little
year for the
dragon
people
heads
of
right
Bohemia.
there?
Late that year, the sky was also swarming with dragons.
Wearing crowns. All right, remember I was just showing you the dragon that we captured in the UFO type looking cloud? And then we had those sounds coming from the sky. It's coming from the same region that this all happened before.
A highlight for me has to be the cosmic baby battle of 1536.
There is a cosmic battle going on. It plays out in the sky. And these little images pop up in the clouds, and these people saw
When
it.
3 celestial infants appear to be doing battle in the sky. One is wearing the Austrian coat of arms. The other 2 are dressed up like Ottomans, possibly a reference to the failed Turkish siege of Vienna in 1529.
All right,
With all these ultra-strange events...
All right, that
it's
one right
powerful.
there. The 2 lions, one with the head cut off by the cross right here. A lot going on in that painting right there. All right, the 2 lions, the 2 are fighting, and one wins. Evil's killed, and the good one wins. Depicted, and you see the cross in the sky. All these are all old paintings. All right, so interesting stuff that that we're going through that people had seen before. And also, these are little things to possibly look for in your sky coming soon. Like that scene with the kids playing or fighting. We've already seen stuff like this in the sky, right? And this. So, I've seen horses up in the clouds before, all right? So we've seen stuff like this and cities in the sky. I've also seen, figures in the sky, not wielding a sword like this, but these are all scenes happening in your sky. That's why the Lord says when you see all these signs, look up. Look up. Get out of your phone and look up. This stuff is playing out in your skies and you're missing it all. Well, you guys aren't missing it all. You're seeing it here at my channel. But the rest of the world is so buried in their phones, they're missing what's going on. It's happening right in front of their eyes, and they still can't see it. All right, so now let's come back over to here with all these faces and scenes and this little thing, the broken heart one slapping into a face right there. This guy forming into the butterfly guy right there. Yeah, look up. Your redemption draws nigh. Here's redemption drawing nigh right here. Let me just show you. You know why you were supposed to look up? Because on Easter, this happened. Okay, on Easter, this happened. The day before, I saw the dragon. My son took a picture of the dragon popping out of the UFO cloud, whatever. And I knew that day I need to go back tomorrow at the same time in the same spot and see what happens tomorrow on Easter. All right. A 2,000-year-old prophecy come true on Easter. Now, I just heard a report that YouTube is going to start demanding that creators label their stuff. If it's AI generated, they have to label it. Or if it's artificially generated, they have to label it. Oh, I can't wait for that part, because then I get to tell everybody this is not AI, this is not Photoshop. These are real pictures taken over a course of about an hour, and I stacked them on top of each other and made a flip book, much like you make a cartoon. That's what's so important about these images, their authenticity. That's so you can count on them. That's why it's so important that you understand how real this stuff is getting, how real this image is, because this is going to be your foundation to hold on to. You will now know it is for real. It is really happening, and you are really here with me right now, and we're going to do our reading. Oh, boy. And since this event, we've had the Jesus walking in the clouds with the lightning strikes. We've had the giant face that was in the sunset that was red and black on one side. Remember that face? And then we've had the giant face out by the moon. Okay, so even more increasing signs since this event back on Easter. All right, and you see the lion type face right there, the lion of the tribe of Judah. All right, now let me I had a good one pulled out for you guys tonight. Oh, good. Now everybody take a nice big deep breath in. Okay. Try to stay conscious of me as you go step by step through each day. My presence with you is both a promise and its protection. My final statement just before I ascended into heaven was, "Surely I am with you always." That promise was for all of my followers without exception. The promise of my presence is a powerful protection. As you journey through your life, there are numerous pitfalls along the way. Many voices clamor for your attention, enticing you to go their way. A few steps away from your true path are pits of self-pity and despair, plateaus of pride and self-will, and if you take your eyes off of me and follow another's way, you are in grave danger. When well-meaning friends can lead you astray if you let them usurp my place in your life. The way to stay on the path of life is to keep your focus on me. Awareness of my presence is your best protection. Okay? Awareness of my presence here with you now is your best protection. Also, look to me continually for help, comfort, and companionship. Because I am always by your side, the briefest glance can connect you with me. Right? I'm sitting right next to you, holding you by your right hand. I'm sitting to your right. So look to me continually for help, comfort, and companionship. Because I'm always by your side, the briefest glance can connect you with me. So when you look to me for help, it flows freely from my presence. This recognition of your need for me in small matters as well as large ones keeps you spiritually alive. What keeps you spiritually alive? The recognition of your need for me. What keeps you spiritually alive? The recognition of your need for me in small matters as well as large ones. That's what keeps you spiritually alive. When you need comfort, I love to enfold you in my arms. I enable you not only to feel comforted, but also to be a channel through whom I comfort others. Thus, you are doubly blessed because a living channel absorbs some of whatever flows through it. Do you understand that? When your need for comfort, wait. I enable you not only to feel comforted, but also to be a channel through whom I comfort others. Thus, you are doubly blessed because a living channel absorbs some of whatever flows through it. My constant companionship is the piece de la resistance, the summit of salvation's blessings. No matter what losses you experience in your life, no one can take away this glorious gift. Okay. We're going to get into anxiety now because I can feel anxiety all out there. And we're going to deal with that. Now, listen closely. Anxiety is a result of envisioning the future without me. Wrap your head around that for a second. Anxiety is a result of envisioning the future without me. So the best defense against worry is staying in communication with me. When you turn your thoughts towards me, you can think much more positively. Remember to listen as well as to speak, making your thoughts a dialogue with me. If you must consider upcoming events, follow these rules. 1. Do not linger in the future because anxieties sprout up like mushrooms when you wander there. 2. Remember the promise of my continual presence. Include me in any imagery that comes to mind. This mental discipline does not come easily because you are accustomed to being God of your own fantasies. However, the reality of my presence with you now and forevermore outshines any fantasy you could ever imagine. Okay, so your fantasies of, oh, what's going to happen in the future? Oh my God, it's going to be terrible. Blah, blah, blah. Those are fantasies. The mental discipline it doesn't come easily because you're accustomed to being in your own head. Okay, the reality of my presence with you now and forevermore outshines that fantasy in your head. Okay, once you've learned that, you can use that as the tool to keep you calm. The fantasies that are going through your head are just fantasies. You're watching headlines in the news thinking, oh my God, are we going to get nuked tomorrow? So what? So what if we get nuked tomorrow? Focus on this. Doesn't matter. You're going to heaven. It way outweighs every little stress or anxiety you could be worried about. It's supposed to work that way. It's hard to do, okay? I struggle with it too, okay? Just because you're struggling with it, it's not coming as easily as you expected or that you wanted, doesn't mean that it's not working, okay? So just keep working on that. The reality of my presence with you now and forevermore outshines any kind of fantasies that are running through your head. So go gently through each day, keeping your eyes on me, and I will open up the way before you as you take steps of trust along your path. I will open up the way before you as you take steps of trust along your path. The more you trust me, the better you feel. Sometimes the way before you appears to be blocked. If your focus is on the obstacle or wait, if you focus on the obstacle or search for a way around it, you will probably go off course. Instead, focus on me, the shepherd who is leading you along your life journey. Before you know it, the obstacle will be behind you and you will hardly know how you passed through it. That is the secret of success in my kingdom. Although you remain aware of the visible world around you, your primary awareness is of me. When the road before you looks rocky, you can trust me to get you through that rough patch. My presence enables you to face each day with confidence, doesn't it? My presence with you enables you to face each day with confidence. And I know it's hard getting up out of bed, man. I'm in a lot of pain, and these mornings you're getting up. Oh my God, I'm not feeling too confident right now. That's okay. Just say a prayer and go about your day. That is next. No, that goes on another. Okay, so that's some of it. I got more on this one here too. Okay, so something I want to describe about these images in the clouds now. A lot of people look at this and say, "Oh, it's pareidolia. It's in the clouds, right?" Well, you're seeing it's more than that, right? But there's still a little factor in the back of your mind that says, well, it's not a solid face, it's still made out of cloud. There's still that one little ounce of what if because it's clouds, all right, which is totally understandable. Okay, so there's still that modicum of what if because it's not a it's not a real flesh being in the sky, moving its mouth, yelling and screaming or whatever. It's being made by the clouds. So that still leaves just an iota of doubt. Okay, which means you're still going on faith. All right, seeing is believing. But when you're seeing clouds like this, it's still just a tad bit leaves room so it does not interfere with your faith. I want you to understand that seeing this does not interfere with your faith. It takes your faith a step further into knowing still with an iota of doubt that leaves room for the faith as well. So this is knowing and faith put together. All right. So don't let seeing images like this. Man's got the wrong idea. He taught you the wrong principles. So when I read this, I want you to think about that. Even though you don't see me, you believe in me. Even though you do see me, you believe in me. Even though there's still a little iota, there's still room for faith, you still believe in me. So you still have faith. Even though you do not see me, you believe in me. I am far more real, complete, unchanging, unlimited than the things you can see. When you believe in me, you are trusting in rock solid reality. I am the indestructible rock on which you can keep standing no matter what your circumstances may be. And because you belong to me, I am devoted to you. I encourage you to take refuge in me. Okay, that's one of my most important things that I could ever share with you guys is I am far more real, complete, unchanging, unlimited than the things you can see. When you believe in me, you are trusting in rock solid reality. This is reality. The worlds you live in and inside your head, what you're seeing, that's all the fantasy. That's all temporal. That doesn't last forever. This lasts forever. This is reality. You're actually living in a dream, kind of, in kind of in so to speak. So, when you believe in me, you are trusting in rock solid reality. I am the indestructible rock on which you can keep standing, no matter what your circumstances may be. And because you belong to me, I am devoted to you, and I encourage you to take refuge in me. Believing in me has innumerable benefits. The most precious one is the salvation of your soul forever and ever. Your belief in me also enhances your present life immensely. I repeat, your belief in me also enhances your present life immensely, making it possible for you to know you are and whose you are. As you stay in communication with me, I help you find your way through this fallen world with hope in your heart. All of this enlarges your capacity for joy. The more you seek me and the more fully you know me, the more I can fill you with inexpressible, glorious joy. So I want you to trust me enough to relax and enjoy my presence. I did not design you to live in a state of hypervigilance, feeling and acting as if you're constantly in the midst of an emergency. Your body is wonderfully crafted to gear up when necessary and to gear down when the crisis is over. But because you live in such a broken world, you might find it difficult to let down your guard and relax. I want you to remember that I am with you all the time and that I am totally worthy of your confidence. So pour out your heart to me, committing all the things that are troubling you into my sovereign care. The more you lean on me, the more fully you can enjoy my presence. As you relax in my healing light, I shine peace into your mind and into your heart. Your awareness of my presence with you grows stronger and stronger each day, and my unfailing love soaks deeper and deeper into your inner being. Trust in me with all your heart and mind. Not that one. The backside. Where's the backside? Oh, where to put it? Yeah. Oh, good. All right. So, I created you in my image with the amazing capacity to communicate with me. As my image bearer, you are capable of choosing the focus of your mind. Many of your thoughts come and go unabided, but you can control them more than you realize. The Holy Spirit inspired Paul to write, whatever is true, whatever is noble, and whatever is right, think about such things. I wouldn't instruct you to think in this way unless it was possible for you to do so. Because the world contains both good and evil, you can choose to focus on excellent, praiseworthy things or on terrible, upsetting matters. Sometimes you have to deal with the brokenness around you, but each day offers moments when you are free to ponder pure, lovely things. When your mind is idle, it often moves towards a negative focus, regretting things in the past, worrying about things in the future. Meanwhile, I am with you in the present, waiting for you to recall my presence. Train yourself to turn toward me frequently. This brightens even your hardest times, increasing your joy. So trust me, beloved, every time you have an anxious, fearful thought, you need to take multiple looks at me. Speak my name to remind yourself that I am near, ready to help you. Quote scripture back to me. I trust in you, O Lord. I say, you are my God. My times are in your hands. That's how you express your love to me, saying, I love you, O Lord, my strength. Remember that I, your Savior King, take great delight in you. You are a cherished member of my royal family forever. Connecting with me interrupts the negative thoughts that tend to course through your mind. Therein lies your secret right there in one simple thing. It's all complexity, 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 complexity. No, it's very simple. Connecting with me interrupts the negative thoughts that tend to course through your mind. So, the more consistently you communicate with me, the freer you will become. Right? The more consistently you communicate with me, the freer you become. And since I am the truth, living close to me helps you recognize and break free from distortions and lies, especially in this world of distortions and lies. Trusting and loving me are at the very core of your relationship with me. These beautiful ways of drawing near to me protect you from being too focused on yourself and your fears. Turn to me over and over and over again, secure in my sheltering presence. Okay, I have to do that many times a day myself. Okay, I have to connect to stop, to interrupt the negative thoughts. And it's a discipline. It's hard to do, but the more you practice it, the better you get at it. And the better you get at it, the more peace you have. The more peace you have, the more fulfilled you live. It just, oh, I love it. Okay, so let's close with this. I want you to learn to be joyful always by connecting your joy to me first and foremost. One way of doing this is to remember that I love you at all times and in all circumstances. I love you at all times and in all circumstances. Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, my unfailing love for you will not be shaken. So don't give in to the temptation to doubt my love when things don't go as you would like or when you have failed in some way. My loving presence is the solid rock on which you can always stand, knowing that in me you are eternally secure. I am the Lord who has compassion on you. Okay? I am the Lord who has compassion on you. I love you. I have compassion. Unlike a lot of the world. Another way of increasing your joy is to give thanks in all circumstances. Ask my Spirit to help you view your life through the lens of gratitude. Search for blessings scattered along your pathway, even during your hardest times, and thank me for each one. I encourage you to look steadily through your lens of gratefulness by thinking about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Okay? Focus on things that are excellent and worthy of praise. It takes your mind off of all the other stresses in the world. You're getting anxiety. come on over to this channel, pop up this image, do whatever you need to do, pray, listen to my voice, whatever it takes to keep you calm, peaceful, very aware of what's going on around you. Okay. Hyper vigilant, we'll say. You're very attuned to what's going on around and what's coming down the pike here. But when those anxieties get to you, stop. Don't let those negative thoughts take over. It's like that train going the wrong direction. Whoa, stop right away. Get off at the first stop and turn around, because it's going to cost you more to get back to your original destination of peace. So start going down that negative thought pattern. Try to stop yourself as quick as you can. Take a deep breath. Look to your right. I'm right there holding you by your hand, okay? Know that your best buddy is there, right there with you, going through it the same time you are. All right? I can relate. That's what you need, is somebody who can relate. I'm that somebody who can relate no matter what it is, in all circumstances. Okay? It's a peace that transcends all fear. Okay? And I want you guys to have that peace that transcends all fear. And it doesn't come easily. You struggle throughout the day, and when you find yourself doing it many times a day, Lord, Jesus, I'm doing it again. Please help me. I caught myself doing it again. Please help me. And the moment you do that, kind of relieves your mind, and you stop doing it, and you're free to go about the rest of your day without all the hang-ups and stuff that still kind of tag along sometimes. And beware of self-pity. Try not to slip into the hole of self-pity. Good reminders are, seeing other people that have hardships that are worse than yours, or reminders of the blessings that you do have in your life. And when I'm out saying my prayer before each show, I always thank him for the blessing. Thank you for the protection on the road. Thank you for, my family, all of which are blessings that would not have been possible if it wasn't for the sacrifice. So ultimately, it's thank you for the sacrifice so we can enjoy all the blessings that came with that. All right. And the forgiveness of our sins. All right. So that's it for tonight. I love you guys. I miss you. God bless you. Hold on tight. Keep your head on the swivel, okay? Everybody keep praying. Stay vigilant. And, be that beacon to others. Be that light. Let my spirit, you hear me, let me work through you to shine light into other people's lives. That's the wonder about sharing this channel, too. It's like I don't self-promote. I can't really go out there and self-promote. It's attraction rather than promotion. But that doesn't stop you guys from pointing other people in the right direction. And when you do that, you're blessed when you do that. You understand that, right? Of course, it blesses the person who finds this channel, but then it blesses you as well for leading them here. You are modern day disciples. You have a job to do, a spiritual job to do. So go out there. It's not easy. Do the best you can. Be that beacon of light. Set that example so people will see what you have and want it. And when they say, how did you get that? I want that too. Then you can direct them to me, and we make miracles. We make perfection. Okay. You working with me, working with him. We make perfection. All right. That's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. And you are seeing the signs. I love you all. You are a very special family. I think you're understanding now how special you really are.